Hello, hello. Happy full moon day. It is full moon in Capricorn. I was going to say Cancer. It's Cancer season still. Full moon in Capricorn, 18 degrees, July 10th, 2025. So if you have placements in the cardinal sign, so that makes Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, Aries, they're in those mid degrees, I'd say like 12 degrees to 25 degrees of those signs. You'll probably feel the pressure of this full moon compared, and more so than other signs. So this is a full moon that's about responsibility. It's Capricorn is about where have we had to learn from our mistakes. Capricorn wants us to be challenged so that we keep learning and we become masters of whatever that is that challenges us over time. And we become an authority in said area because of it. So we don't just, when it comes to Saturn, we don't just get the badge of honor for skipping ahead. You have to do the hard work when it comes to Saturn. So full moon in Capricorn is going to acknowledge, what have you been responsible for? The good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty. Take time to note what are you responsible for in your life right now? And maybe also look at maybe where you've not taken enough responsibility, and also look at where you've taken too much responsibility. Just take a moment, because that's what Capricorn is. It rules the 10th house. It's like wherever we're meant to be an authority, that we're giving back to the world, that part of our chart, the 10th house. Not all of us have it there, but that's what generally the 10th house is, sort of backed by that Capricornian energy of our career and our mission here. So we should be feeling something as it relates to that as a collective. But we have a lot that we are feeling right now because of what's going on with the outer planets. So Pluto, we already know, moved into Aquarius for good in November. So it's been a good 8 months, 8 months that it's been in Aquarius, newly out of Capricorn, where it was since 2008. The two planets that moved out of Pisces and into Aries, Neptune and Saturn, both moved into Aries. One was on March 30th. Neptune, Saturn moved in on May 25th. So they've moved into Aries. And then this week, Uranus moved into Gemini. It has been in Taurus, a fixed earth sign, and now is in a mutable air sign, Gemini. Big deal. It's been in Taurus for the betterment of 7 years. So it's been with us since the whole 2020 debacle, and even before. I remember feeling quite literally like this earth, I felt like I would tell people this, the earth is on toothpicks and someone's about to kick them out. That's what it felt like to me as soon as Uranus went into Taurus. Well, 3 days ago, July 7th, it moved into Gemini. Gemini is a very different energy than Taurus. Gemini is, like I said, mutable. Taurus is fixed, it's dependable, it's reliable, it wants to work hard at one thing, it wants to build something, it's got that hardworking nature, it nurtures something, it's the great gardener sign of the zodiac. Gemini is where we're going to learn about polarity and duality in particular. It is the sign that is everyone's friend. It wants to have fun. It is very childlike. It doesn't want to go super deep. It likes to ask everybody lots of questions and survey the room. By the end of the night, that person who's got that nature is going to have collected the most amount of details that you could imagine. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the great messenger. It's the way that we think. It is the way that we articulate. It is again, the way that we also want to have fun. It's the way that we don't want to be so deep about things. So we now have Uranus, the planet of breakthroughs and, revelations, and the planet that wants to go its own way. It's rebellious and, is original in its nature. It wants to do things a brand new way for the future for humans. It's the great humanitarian sign. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So it acts like lightning. So wherever it is, so coming out of Earth, where it was shaking up a lot of the Earth structures, here for the last 7 years, It's now going to be more in the networking part of our world, the way that we relate to each other as friends, and as a network, that we start thinking about. Gemini tends to rule the third house, which is related to our neighborhood, our local community. So Uranus is going to come in and create a shakeup there. And it's for our liberation and freedom ultimately, but it comes with change. So it's a really good time for us to stay close-knit with our local communities, because people are going to be experiencing monumental change right now because of all of these planets moving into new signs. For the next month or so, we're going to feel this energy. And if you may already have been feeling it over the last week, I've been hearing this repeatedly, that people feel like their life doesn't make sense anymore. Like what their plans were are suddenly like not feeling appropriate for the way things feel right now. So go slow with ourselves. Like, first of all, yes, there's certain things that are going to slow down because there's a bunch of planets that are going to retrograde. So Neptune's already retrograde. Pluto is retrograde. Later this month, we're going to have Chiron and Saturn both retrograde, and Mercury retrograde, but in Leo rather than Aries. But all fire signs. So that's going to allow us to reflect. It's going to allow our sort of like spiritual selves to catch up to what's been going on, and what's getting lit up in our hearts that wants to come to fruition. How do we want to spend these next 7-8 years with Uranus? What do we want to break through? You might want to look at where is Gemini in your chart, because that's the area that's going to go through this breakthrough liberation experience. Mine, when it was in Taurus, it went over my sun, my moon, my IC, and my Chiron. Like, you can see what my life looked like since 2017, 18 in particular. I've been all over the place, so because that's my home house, where it's been in Taurus, at least in Placidus system. Now it's in Gemini, so this is going to be more my day-to-day, the way I create, things like that. Like, it's going to affect things in a very different way, even health house. Like, so it's going to be kind of creating breakthroughs there, but that sometimes comes from breakdowns. So just notice that for yourselves. That's why getting a reading is super helpful. I have a reading going right now called the WTF is happening, basically. Reading, it's about 30-40 minutes, but I'll give people just an idea of what is going on in their charts, and what is kind of to expect for the year that they're in. So they're $75. You can find them on my link tree in Instagram. If you have any questions, just email me, kelly@kellydrury.com. So anyway, full moon today in Capricorn. It's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is going to be retrograding soon. Saturn is in a new sign, Aries. It's in a sign usually for 3 to 5 years, depending on where it is. So it's in Aries, it's not particularly comfortable because Aries is ruled by Mars and wants to get ahead. Saturn puts the brakes on all the time. It's like wants to check and make sure that we've done everything exactly the right way. We don't want to have to return to it in the future. So there's a push and pull, but it does help us get new ideas, Aries, out in more structured ways, Saturn. Neptune is bringing in a new way to dream. What's going to be the revolutionary way that we're going to need to dream and fight for, humanity in this next round with Neptune? It's going to, again, retrograde back to Pisces where it's been for a little small amount of time, but then it's coming back into this energy. So reflect on that. And then, Chiron retrograding, we all feel as well, because it's a part of our the wounded healer story. So we could be anywhere on the spectrum with that story. We can be in the very wounded state to the very healed and alchemical state where we're sharing the gifts that we've gotten from healing our wounds with everybody else. So it's just where we are in different states of our life. And some of us are going to get hit pretty hard with certain things over and over again. And I think one of the things that I try to do, at least with my readings, is help build in a broader perspective about what is going on here for all of us, and as a collective. Because when we have a better framework that is expansive versus constrictive or confining and isolating, like that's never going to make us feel good, number one. And when we don't feel good, we can't hear things or see things the way that we could be hearing or seeing them. And so it's important that we check in with ourselves right now, because To me, this Uranus and Gemini is going to create a lot of mental health imbalances for people. I think it's a lot of energy in the head. We've already got Pluto in an air sign, and then we have these two planets, Neptune and Saturn, moving into, they're in Aries. They're not in signs that either of them like to be in either. So this is this is a difficult time for what is true, what is not, what do I believe in, do I not believe in. So as much as I value technology and AI being a part of our future and what it will afford us to be able to let go of as a society or as a collective humanity, I also want us to be really freaking cautious about how much we are feeding those machines, ourselves, our energy. How much are we giving our energy and time to these machines? It's very, very easy. It's something I grapple with on the regular as someone who comes on here and puts my videos up here. People say they appreciate them, and I know that they do, but I'm generally conflicted by being on this particular medium, and this being, it's not the only options. There's many options. So I'm really looking at that, and I think we all should be looking at that and being really mindful of where we put our attention and our energy, because that is cultivated, energy that we have to put into ourselves through the way that we eat and our lifestyle. And then there's things that just are taking it, and also being really mindful of your energy field. Like, I'm a person who's very sensitive to, being around when there's a lot of different people around me, I get very sensitive. I get overwhelmed by that experience. I'm not a person who likes to go to malls. I like grocery shopping at night before, like in the later hours, when things are quieter. I'm just high sensory. Like it bothers me. So anyway, my point is that this is going to be a time for a lot of us where there's going to be a lot of energy up in the head, and we're going to need to manage that and figure out what are healthy ways of sort of like working with that energy versus doing more that is taking our energy or having us feel spun out or burnt out. So just some things to reflect on. So happy full moon. Look out the sky tonight. I don't know. It's still light out here. We still got another couple hours before we'll see it. But again, it's in Capricorn at 18, almost 19 degrees. Saturn is going to retrograde in a few days in Aries. That's, it's just part of the deal. Those planets all retrograde. The sun's going to enter Leo. We're going to then have the new moon in Leo. And then Mercury is going to retrograde in Leo. While also Chiron is going to retrograde in Aries. So that, again, that fire energy, having that retrograde field. And then Venus will move into Cancer after it's been in Gemini. Went into Gemini right before Uranus moved into Gemini. They had that big meeting, if you didn't feel it in your relationships or money, financial situations last week. That's what that was about. They came together July 4th. Yeah, there's a lot that happened on 4th of July. So anyway, so that's the thing to look out. More retrograde energy, time to be reflective. Think about what you've been picking up on that's feeling like it's coming in the future. Take a time out. This is a really good time of year to take a time out in New Jersey. It's a great time to take a time out if you are not down the shore, or even if you are down the shore, take a time out on the beach. But nobody's around in suburbia. So I'm doing lots of dog sitting in this area while people are at the beach. And I love it because everybody leaves. And so it's actually quite quiet. And it's when I appreciate it the most, is when it's quiet. So anyways, figure out where you find your peace. I will come back on and probably talk as we get closer to the next new moon. But yeah, feel into this energy. Slow down. Everybody's going to be okay. Be kind to each other. If you want a reading, be in touch. Ciao.